Right, Damo, thanks for joining us. It's been a busy summer on and off the pitch and seems to be a real sense of excitement. Have you found your first summer in charge of the club?
It sounds funny, but really enjoyable. Hard work, but really enjoyable. I've got a few issues out of football with family and that, but apart from that, this has kept me going and been a really busy summer, as you could tell.
Has there been a point over the summer, obviously we know as we film this is the second pre-season session, has there been a point over the summer where you've gone, this is my team, like this team that I'm starting to build now, this is mine?
Yeah, I'd say that's now from the first session, you know, yeah. From the players what we spoke to over the summer to get them in. Quite a few what we targeted have agreed to come in, so that's really good for us. I was just speaking about it with DT in the office. With us, we've got 15 or 16 really strong players that we're really happy with at the moment.
You spent close to 2 seasons as assistant here, and then you took the role of manager towards the back end of last season. Looking back, did you know when you took the role on with 6 games or so left that you were coming to be in charge this season, or was that something you found out over the summer?
No, I more or less knew that at the time. It was always a plan for me to eventually be Barwell's manager from 2 years ago when I came in with Jimmy. Unfortunately, with the circumstances, the way it happened is not the best way. It's not the way I wanted it to happen, but the opportunity came across, and it's not an opportunity I could turn down. It's local for me, and it's a real good move for me personally as well.
The 6 games last season, just reflect on last season for a second, was a sort of a baptism of fire for you. 3 or 4 clubs that were up pushing for the playoffs. With those games, how did you find it, and what did that sort of teach you and put you in good instead for this season?
Believe it or not, I enjoyed it. You know, it was hard work. The lads, apart from I'd say 145 minutes, actually ran through a brick wall for me, which is all I could ask for. Maybe we never had the strength and depth and quality to keep the team up, but it was a good experience, and obviously I want to make sure we get back to that level, and that's the plan for the team this season.
Was there any lessons that you learned in those 6 games? Obviously I know you spent time at Nirvana and you were at Shed for 4 or 5 years. Was there anything sort of new that you learned in that experience? Because obviously must have been, in a way, it must have been a little bit downheartening, because you were playing some good stuff, and obviously the results just weren't coming. Silly goals conceded at silly times and whatnot, and obviously you managed to pick up that all-important first win on the last day of the season. But did that sort of teach you anything new?
I wouldn't say it taught me anything new, because it's just football. It's a result game business, and obviously when I took the job over, we were very low in confidence as it is. I think we've won one in about 15, 16, 17 games, so it was just about trying to get the lads to enjoy the football and work hard and represent the club, which I they definitely did to a certain extent, so I can't knock them for that. It's just maybe a bit of lack of quality in the end never got us through. So I wouldn't say I learnt a lot, but you can never not learn in football.
A lot of supporters and a lot of people have been impressed by the work that's been done in the transfer market. You've obviously brought back Brady. When this goes out, it brought back Dean as well, Dean Master, and then you've added the likes of Shea Willock and Carl Rowley, people with step 3 experience. You pleased with the business that you've done so far?
I'm really happy. We're quite over the moon. We're maybe 1 or 2 short of where we want to be, but it's still early days in pre-season, as you know. But we're really happy with what we've brought through the door now. But it's down to them now when they cross the white line to show that they're in the right club and the right place for us.
Did you have a particular profile of player? Because the reason I ask is, as I've been doing the bios and the announcements for some of the players, there's a lot of players that have either been captains at clubs or vice captains, and seems to be a lot more leadership in the team than probably has been for the last couple of seasons. Is that something in particular that you were looking towards and something you were aware of as you were signing the players, or is it just sort of a lucky accident?
Oh no, 100%. Darryl Thomas, I brought in to help me out towards the back end of last season, my assistant manager DT. That's something he identified straight away. We didn't have many leaders in the dressing room, and so when we sat down after the last game of the season, straight there we identified 5 or 6 leaders that we want to bring to the club and targeting. And I'll be honest with you, we got most of them over the line apart from 1 player. But apart from that, we're really happy with that, and that was the main focus for us, getting leaders and people that would actually run through a brick wall, and players that actually care for Barwell, which is really important for me as a manager of the club.
Aside from the new arrivals, you've kept a couple of players from last year, namely Peps, Amar stayed on, and Ethan and James. Is there a reason, Malachi, is there a reason sort of those players have stayed as opposed to others? Were you looking to sort of keep a few more players on from last season, or was it?
If I be completely honest with you, I spoke to every single player, and obviously there was other players with aspirations to play higher and kick on and go on in the game, which you can't knock them for. But an example of that is Freddie, you know, who's superb for us when he came to the club. There's one or two players I didn't want to lose, but they've wanted to try elsewhere, which I've not got a problem with. So that's why it made it even more hard work for me in the summer to get players in and basically make it my team and DT's team, and that's what we want, and that's what we've identified.
So last season, obviously circumstances dictated that supporters probably didn't get to see a demo side.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have a full summer to work with the players, your team. What are you hoping that the fans will see when the season gets underway?
100% they'll see that they will run for a bit more for the club. They'll represent me. When you cross that white line, you're representing Damion Beckford-Quailey. Anyone who knows me knows whatever I do in life, I always give 100%, and that's the bare minimum I ask for, and that's, I suppose, and I'm sure that's the minimum the fans will expect.
You put together your own management team, so you've brought in Daryl Thomas,
yeah.
Aaron Hayer and Callum Wheeler. What made those three the right people to bring along, and was it important for you to have the freedom to bring in who you wanted as your backroom staff? Yeah,
100%, and the chairman said that to me from day one, you know, and I wanted to get people in who I know and who I trust. I'm not saying that there's certain people I didn't trust, but just people who I know in the game and can add experience to me and also help me improve as a manager. And we're all one team, and that's what it's about. And I think if you look at the first session, what Aaron put on Tuesday, the feedback we've got has been absolutely fantastic. But it's the first session; we've got a long way to go.
How is that for you? Having people that you can sort of work with, but that will also challenge you as well. I look back on your time when you were at Shepshed. You had Gary Drake with you at the time, who's obviously gone on to be Shepshed manager since. Is that important to you to have someone that you can trust, listen to, and that you will listen to if they sort of maybe challenge something that you say or that you do, and sort of bounce off one another? Yeah,
100%. The most important thing for me as a manager and as a manager not to have yes people around me as well. So, you know, I'm not always going to be right. They're not always going to be right. As long as we meet in the middle ground and the communication and level of respect, that's what, for me, not even just football, that's what life's about. And that's me as a person, never too young or too old to learn.
So let's move on to the expectations. There's been quite a bit of positivity with the signings that have been announced so far. As I said, a couple of players with some good step 3 experience, some good players retained from last season, likes of Brady, Dean. How are you sort of managing some of the outside expectations that are coming in, and what are your own expectations and sort of goals going into this season?
If I be completely honest, I'm not really concerned with the outside expectations, just about in-house. I think it's a bit too early to talk about what we want to do or what we want to achieve until we get our settled squad. But one thing I will tell you is that when we do decide our final squad, the lads in there will know what our targets are for the season. That's no disrespect to anyone in this league. I want to get Barwell back to level where they have been for the last 15, 16 years. And trust me, I know it's not going to be easy. It's a very competitive league. There's a lot of money flying around in the league, and there's some really good teams in the league, and we seem to be all fighting for the same players. So, you know, there's going to be 5 or 6 teams in the same position what we're in at the moment. But yeah, we've got our plans of what we want to achieve for the end of the season.
So finally, there's been a lot of change over the last sort of 3-4 months or so. It's coming in, changing players. As we head towards the first pre-season game and the start of the season, do you have a message for Barwell fans ahead of this coming season?
Yeah, just stay with us, give us a bit of time, and one thing I will guarantee you, will be very good to watch, will be good on the eye, and you will enjoy Barwell and Barwell football team playing. One thing we will do, we'll make sure we leave everything on the pitch.
Cheers, thank you for that.
Thank you, appreciate that.